Hey everybody, you know this guy, Gator Boy. We're going live from the wilderness, so expect some interruptions here. This is Ask a Painter Live. I am Nick Slavic. I'm the proprietor of the Nick Slavic Painting and Restoration Company. I'm also the host of this show, Ask a Painter Live. It is a weekly live Facebook show where I use my almost 3 decades of experience in this trade as a craftsperson and a paint business entrepreneur to answer any questions. So, what is today? Saturday?
Yeah.
It took a second. So it's been kind of a whirlwind. We've been on spring break. This also coincides with this week, turkey season started, and 2 really cool things happened this year, which is youth season started this week, and Milo is out with me turkey hunting. I drew a very special tag for a very special place in Minnesota, and that's where we are right now. So we went right from spring break. We were on a island in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Washington called Lummi Island, right off the Lummi Indian Reservation. And big, what is that, hawk, buzzard flying around?
Yeah.
And yeah, so we were on an island in the Pacific Ocean, and we flew home and we reset our bags, got our hunting gear, and here we are. We're sitting in the wilderness, and I should show you guys this place right now because this is a special place. So this is in southeastern Minnesota, and it's unlike any other part of Minnesota. Most of Minnesota is flat. This is not flat. There's beautiful bluffs and rivers and everything else. And so right now where we are, we're about 1.5 miles. We walked 1.5 miles out on this knife ridge here. And we're sitting at the edge of a woods. We're overlooking about 100 feet, and then it drops off hundreds and hundreds of feet into a river valley. And we're setting up here with our decoy. So let me flip this around for you guys here. So you can see we're at the edge of the woods here. There's our turkey decoy. And right below, right on the other side of those trees, it basically goes straight down over into the river valley there. So, outdoors, and not necessarily hunting and fishing, but outdoors are very important to us because I find a lot of peace in the outdoors. So when my head gets busy, when employee issues, technical issues, business, building and stability issues kind of overwhelms my thinking, this is something that gives me a lot of peace and solace, and it's really awesome. So I like to try to introduce these guys too. So just like when we took them to spring break, we went to go see great grandma Nana. We went to go see one of the coolest dudes on the planet, Uncle Jay, my Uncle Jay, his great Uncle Jay, the original play pig. That's what they used to call him, because sailboat, water skiing, hunting, fishing, snowmobiles, motorcycles, jeeps, everything that's cool, Jay does. So, yeah. So, going to see great grandma and great Uncle Jay is fine. You could stay at a Ramada Inn, and there'd be nothing wrong with that. But we decided to stay on a house that's basically sitting on top of the water on an island, and yes, it's inconvenient. You have to take a water ferry. You have to drive a half an hour to see everybody. But, dude, what did we see on that island?
We saw a bunch of eagles.
Tons of eagles, and the tide would come in and out like 50 feet from the shore, and oyster beds, crabs. Dude, also the creatures there are unbelievable.
Yeah.
We saw purple starfish too. We picked a metric ton of beach glass, which is cool because most of the beaches that we go to, you don't get a lot of glass, but evidently here there is tons of glass. And so why do I say this? It's tough, and where we are right now is tough to get to. This little guy has walked about 12 miles today. Today and yesterday. We got here last night and hunted, and he is tired, and I am tired, but you could go right next to the access where people park. You could go right next to a road. You could stay in a Ramada Inn, but I think it's important to expose yourself and these young people to experiences to help you find your passion. And you will not find your passion if you sit idle inside your house, or the likelihood of it is very low if you do that. So I love exposing my family to new and exciting things because I never know where their life's going to take them. And this aligns with what I want to talk about today, a very important leadership lesson. And it's one that's been kind of ruminating in my head for the last year or so. I suppose here, before we get into the deep stuff, we should probably hit you guys with a little turkey call. So don't rate me on my skill here. I've only been a hunter for a few years and nobody's ever taught me how to do this. So give it a little cluck. So, and this morning we actually called in a hen and we set up because we thought it was a big gobbler coming over a ridge, but it ended up being a hen.
Yeah.
And Milo passed on it wisely, so we can't shoot hens here, but this is the exact thing we did to call in that hen this morning. Ooh, that was a bad one. Here, let me do that one again.
It's kind of squeaky.
It's squeaky, man. A lot of practice.
That was better.
You just hear it echo in the canyon. It's so awesome. So, all right, enough of the tomfoolery here. So, one of the things I've been going in the last bunch of years heavy into traction and then now into grit. And part of the thesis of the book Grit is being an outlier, being extraordinary, accomplishing some great thing for you and those around you. And that is solely reliant, based on the science, on finding a passion and creating a superordinate goal based on that passion, where something where you can stick to for decades. And sometimes you don't even see the benefit or an immediate return on it, but you know that you're making progress and you're going to have a monstrous payoff, a huge, huge thing accomplished at the end of your life. And part of that, I've realized, the next book that I've been going deep into is called Mindset, and it deals with an abundance mindset versus a fixed mindset. And the thinking is, when they go to the science, the book Mindset is based on a 4-decade work of a PhD, where they try to figure out, again, what makes outliers, what makes good performers. And they can basically say, it's people who have an abundance mindset versus a fixed mindset. And I had a hard time, like understanding the definition of that. But after I got done with the book, it sort of hit me. There was a document that I saw years and years ago, and this has been created from many, many people. I didn't create this. The person that I saw it last from didn't create it. It's a business maxim, but it gets concentrated and consolidated and changed and morphed and into different things. And it's basically the idea of above the line and below the line thinking and talking and actions. And so an above the line conversation would be one where you take ownership and responsibility. And a below the line conversation is one where you blame, you make excuses, and you deny. And they scientifically can prove that people who take ownership of their own lot in life, their situation, their performance at work, their performance as a husband, a father, a mother, a wife, things like that, they do way better in life. And it's all built upon the abundance, which is, when you encounter a problem in life, you can say, well, listen, I never do that. That would be obviously denying an excuse. You couldn't possibly accomplish that thing, even if it is hard, even if it does seem impossible. And you could blame others. Well, listen, if everybody else would do their job, then I'd be able to do my job. An ownership way of thinking, an abundance mindset way of thinking would be, hey, listen, that doesn't feel like it's very easy to do, but you know what? I'm going to reach out to a couple people, see if I can get some help, and let's start talking about it. Let's see if we can find some solutions to that. A lot of times so I'm now a big fan of above the line, below the line, and I can basically categorize every conversation I have with people in my business, outside of my business, in my personal life, professional life, and everything else. And I start to see it through this filter of above the line, below the line. And a lot of times, so people get self-conscious about this then, like, oh, wait, you just want me to take blame for every single thing that goes wrong? It's like, no, not necessarily. An ownership way of thinking, so let's just say one of your painting crews has a little bit of friction on a job site. Hey, some hardware, some hinges, something didn't show up on time, so the project's going to be a little bit delayed. Let's say the cabinet doors and drawers or passage doors or something needed a little bit of drying time. Let's say a crew member called in sick a few days, things like that, or maybe showed up late a few days. So this can all raise the stress and the tension on job sites. And what I see, people who have a fixed below the line mindset start to lash out at others. they will not turn the conversation in towards themselves. And I'm not asking them to take blame of that, because if something was ordered and it didn't come in time, obviously that's not their fault. But an ownership way of thinking about all of those problems, your crew person being late, the client may be asking you to do some things that weren't in the original scope. Yes, that adds stress, but an ownership way of thinking is, hey, listen, no problem. These are all things that just happen. They're common, everyday occurrences. Let me get with my team. Let's talk about this, and we'll find you a solution. Either way, we're going to take care of you. What that person was not doing was saying, this is all my fault, I'm stupid. One of those things. That's not what ownership is. Not you taking the blame or making excuses for somebody else or denying for somebody else. It's saying, listen, there's a solution out there. Why don't we just take a pause? Let's not lash out at people. Let's not fly off the handle. Let's not let emotions get high. Let's not get angry. Let's not get sad. Let's not get excited. Let's just talk. And let's figure this out. The people who have an abundance mindset, every time they approach a problem and they think, you know what, I'm going to gather a little bit of info, I'm going to talk to some people about this, we're going to figure this thing out. And you know what, it doesn't always work out. It doesn't always work out. I've done many things in my life, probably the majority of things, where you're like, you know what, I'm going to put forth maximum effort. I'm going to put a little more time towards it today. I'm going to talk to some people, gather some info. I'm going to try some things, maybe do some experiments. And you know what, at the end of it, maybe you still don't like the result. Maybe you didn't accomplish it. Maybe the results still weren't there. You say, you know what though? I can at least say we've done a great experiment, and at least with the resources I have, we can't accomplish this right now. Now, if I had this, we probably could. Now, then you can say, well, what's stopping you from doing that or getting that to accomplish that? So to me, it's very important, and you can break down a lot of conversations to above the line, below the line. And this also dovetails into, so this is kind of like, again, this is an amalgamation of a lot of people's things. Business coaches use this all the time, I found out. Books like Mindset use it all the time. There's probably about 30 or 40 different very well-known business books that talk about ownership, accountability, above the line, below the line, things like that. And to me, it also dovetails in with grit, and it also dovetails in with traction too, because traction speaks heavily about right people, right seat, and trust is everything. Trust is our number one core value of our 5. And if we don't trust somebody, that's not even worth talking about production, quality, anything else. If we don't trust you, you're not going to find a home here. So above the line, taking ownership, taking responsibility, finding solutions, or at least not letting emotions come into it and breaking the situation down and deflecting from it, also deals with trust, and also deals with right person, right seat. So you can imagine if all the conversations you have with somebody are below the line, every conversation is, listen, I don't know what you want me to do. I've done everything I can. I don't know. Something like that. I've done everything I possibly can. There's nothing more for me to do. What could I possibly do to do this? You keep putting unrealistic expectations on me. Things like that. And maybe they are, but that's a discussion. You don't let the emotions get in the way with it. You have discussion with that person, and but most of the if you think about it really closely, a lot of people are very, very consistent with above the line, below the line sort of thinking, and most of their conversations either go above the line or below the line. And the biggest part about what we're doing, and what I really like doing, and what I get a lot of energy from is coaching people. So typically there's a standard sort of business practice called 30-30 fire, 30-30 keep, something like that. If somebody's doing a lot of below the line stuff, or is not being accountable to the results of something, you basically coach them up and give them 30 days to show a result. You give them feedback after that 30 days, and if they have not shown a result, you say, listen, you got another 30 days, but basically this is it. 30-30 fire, 30-30 keep, give or take. But they have to be coachable. Being coachable, getting feedback, constructive criticism from those around you, whether it's in your personal life or professional life. If somebody says, hey, listen, you're late a lot, and that's a pattern, twice a week you're late. First of all, somebody can deny it. Oh, I'm never late. Come on. They can make excuses. Well, listen, my car, it's always my car. It's always my car. But people fall into crazy patterns that they don't even know about. The people who are late, typically for work, show probably 10 or 15 times more lateness than anybody else. and it's a pattern. And most people don't understand that, but it is a pattern. Oh, Mom's saying hi.
Hi, Mom.
We just took a nice little nap here in the sun. It's beautiful. We're sitting on top of this bluff. We're watching eagles fly around. The breeze is flowing through the pine trees. It's good. So, but basically, when little Gator Boy here is taking his snooze, I took about a 10 or 15 minute one. He took about an hour, which was awesome to see him napping in the wilderness. But then, my mind ruminates on this stuff. And boy, if I could find the magical way to show people that, listen, ownership thinking, abundance mindset, taking ownership, responsibility, doing the trustworthy thing, above the line actions, it may not feel good, but we're not asking you to accept all the blame for this thing. We're asking you to accept the ability to find a solution to things. And honestly, I am such a believer that this is a much better way to go through life. Everything is hard. Everything good is hard. Have you ever done anything really, really great that was super easy? You'll probably find an example.
I'll think of one.
You do some pretty amazing drawings, and it feels to me like they come easy to you. But I know you work really hard at it. You put forth a lot of effort. So, but
Thank
yeah,
you.
basically it comes down to anything good tends to be a little bit harder. Risk and reward. If you're not willing to risk something, you should not expect an equivalent reward, generally. And that's what I think about nowadays. And I think about my own actions a lot too when we do that. We just had goal setting and review meetings with the entire company, where I basically got to sit down and talk with everybody about this exact thing, and we dug into their personality profiles, and we pointed out some things that we should be working on together, and not negative stuff, because there's basically no bad or negative personality profile, but there's things we need to know about each other, because interpersonal conflict happens when the puzzle pieces don't fit. And it's good to know that about people. And that's kind of what we've been working on lately and will be in the future here. But I think a lot about that ownership way of thinking. And man, if I could just wave the magic wand and bless everybody, including myself, with a lot more of that, we'd all get through life a hell of a lot easier, for sure. Especially now. Our first day, we sat here, we didn't hear a gobble. We didn't hear a cluck. We didn't see a bird. We did not see we didn't even see we saw one track.
We saw one track.
One track that might have been a couple days old. And a fixed mindset would be like, listen, what are you going to do? There ain't a bird in these woods. We did everything you're supposed to do. I don't know what more you want from me. We got the camouflage on. We got the decoy. We got the call. We got the guns. We got the licenses. We did the special draw permit. We're out here early. We're doing everything. This is BS. This isn't fair. That's one of those things. But is that what we did? No, we didn't do that. We didn't do that. We said, you know what? We're going to get up tomorrow and we're going to try something else. And we did. And we tried a different technique. And we got a result. We called a hen up from the canyon, and it was rocketing towards us. And we quick set up, and we didn't know it was a hen, but we set it up real quick, and we didn't have time to be on the same tree, so we were actually separated. And it was a good test of leadership from this guy, because that thing popped its head over. He had a perfect shooting lane. That thing was, 15, 20 yards away?
Maybe.
Dude, it was right there. Big old crazy red head staring at you. And I saw you. You didn't even twitch. You didn't even bring your gun up. You were just sitting there at the ready, not moving, staring right at it. It looked at you directly, didn't like what it saw, and then flew away. But I was like, oh my, because I was behind another tree and there was some stuff kind of in the way. I was like, dude, I set you up perfectly. Why didn't you shoot? And he said, I didn't see a beard.
I didn't see a beard.
And we're not allowed to shoot the ladies. We can only shoot the dudes. And so I praised him for that. It was a great thing. You could have said, listen, yeah, so it's illegal, but we've put in all the hard work. We've done everything. We deserve this. No, we don't. There's rules, there's laws, and you do not deserve that. So he did a really, really good job this morning. And so, yeah, we changed our technique. We're walking around. Like I said, we're probably 12 plus miles already, going through canyons, going through everything else, and not getting discouraged. You could take a fixed fixed mindset and say, you know what, we haven't seen anything. We haven't heard clucks. We haven't heard, gobbles. We haven't heard anything. This is it. It's just, it's not the right weather. It's not the right anything, but you know what? Who cares, man? It's fun. The best hunters I know, the best business owners I know, do a lot of business and do a lot of hunting. More time doing business, more time in the woods equals more experiences. Like, I was thinking about yesterday too, talking about exposing people to find passions. There's another hawk, by the way, that's really cool. Exposing people to find passions so that they can have something that fuels them for a superordinate goal for decades and decades and decades and decades down the road. Our first night here, you would call it a bust. We sat for like 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
Perfectly still. All the calling, we got the decoy, we got everything. We didn't get one little inkling of return from the woods, right? There wasn't even a turkey leading us on. But you and I got an experience where we saw grouse,
Yeah.
right? So I think I've flushed some grouse before, but I've never actually got a first-hand look. We're sitting in the woods, and literally 10 feet behind us, grouse were going through their mating dance, where the dude was doing the whoop, 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 whoop,
Yeah.
and then the lady was doing, I mean, what sound did they make?
It was not like, it was like it wasn't like a whistling
It was
sound.
like it was one of those
that.
but it was really cool. And they're right behind us. They didn't know we were there, and we just watched them dance around and do this and that. And there was another pair, and there was this and that. But we had that experience together. We saw eastern bluebirds this morning. We saw 2 or 3 deer this morning when we walked up. A coyote. We called in. Evidently, I must be such a good caller. A coyote came in yesterday, and it was looking at our decoy, and I think it was looking for an easy meal. We called in eagles. Every time we'd get on there and start calling again, the eagles would start going over us looking for an easy
A
meal.
hawk came like down. It was like looking at the turkey.
Yeah.
The turkey was like about to get it, and then it was like, oh wait, no, that's
Dude,
fake.
that was
And then
awesome.
then
So
it went back up.
I don't know what kind of, it wasn't a kestrel. It was bigger than a kestrel, and it wasn't a red-tailed hawk. It was some other kind of hawk, and it was sitting in a tree. We could see it right in front of us, and all of a sudden it jumped down and swooped and it dive bomb our thing. So evidently our decoy looks pretty good. My calling is good enough to at least make some other animals interested, but we saw so many like little occurrences with critters. We probably saw 9 or 10 different kind of animals just being out here. And we found a deer antler today. We found animal skulls, turkey feathers, tracks everywhere. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's so fun to be out here. And you know what, even if we walk away without a turkey, I mean, I think I've been, oh yeah, there you go, I've been turkey hunting for like 5 or 6 years. I've only shot 1 turkey in my life. I don't look forward to this less every time because I don't get one every year. You've been turkey hunting, what, 2 years?
Yeah.
Well, you did one of the worst things ever, where you shot one your first hour of ever hunting. Oh God, it ruins them. So yeah. So basically, yeah, this is the thing I've been thinking about now, and I'm trying to figure out a way that I can be a good enough leader to inspire people to take up ownership thinking and an abundance mindset. And I think I do the majority of what I do. I think falls in line with above the line thinking, ownership, and abundance mindset. But I'm not perfect, and nobody is, and you're still going to have some of that fixed below the line kind of stuff too. But it's at least when you have I have a graphic that I use, above the line, below the line, just as a reminder, and you can catch yourself doing it. So all right, folks, I'm not going to belabor this. You guys are awesome for watching this, and you're awesome for allowing me the time and the flexibility to do these things away from the live broadcast studio with my family in the woods. And we've done these from spear shacks, we've done these from ice fishing shanties, we've done these from the wilderness in Canada, from islands in the Atlantic, islands in the Pacific, a whole bunch of different states. And it's awesome that we can do this. And I appreciate you guys listening along to this one, because this is, again, we're not going through job costing. I don't have a spreadsheet to give you. It's not something super technical. I'm not painting something, which would certainly get more views, but arguably this is 20 or 30 times more important than any of that, which is coaching, mentoring, developing, and leading the people around you and inspiring them to accomplish something, a common mission that will hopefully expose them to something they can be passionate about, that will fuel a superordinate goal, that will then lead them to be an outlier. and accomplish great things for not only them, but everybody around them too. All right, everybody. Oh, Gator Boy's yawning. All right, let's see. See if we got any questions. Appreciate everybody. Oh, here we go. Damian Enderley. What do you do about burnout in a job that you once enjoyed? What would you do if you did a job for a long time and you didn't enjoy it anymore? That's called getting burned out. What would you do?
Well, it depends how much longer it was. If it was like, if there was like a couple more days of it, I'd probably just get it done. Either way, I'd probably just at least try to get it done.
Well, you know what's interesting is that burnout comes when you put forth increasingly more effort, time, labor, money, things like that, and either get the same result or less of a result. Most people don't get burned out when they put forth effort and they see a reward, right? That's usually not how people get burned out. So honestly, when I see people get burned out, that's usually a sign that you have to take the next step, which is increase your proven process, make your quality better, increase your prices to get a different result, try something different, or I never got burned out, but I wish I in hindsight, I wish I would have got burned out because it probably would have spurred me professionalizing my business sooner than I did. I was able to grit through it, and I had a very, very high pain tolerance, which actually is not great for a business owner. You want a business owner with a low pain tolerance. So when you experience pain, you work to create some process or a system to then deal with it so you don't have to keep putting out fires in the future. I gritted my way working 80 to 100 hours a week for a decade after I owned my own business, and the results were there, but I was doing it very unintentionally. I owned 2.5 jobs, give or take. So, Damian, my advice to you would be, if you get burned out, most people actually, in my experience, don't hate the thing they're doing. They're just not getting something out of it that they should be with the amount of effort that they're putting into it. So one of the things that, like, I thought I couldn't get any more passionate about the craft and the business and things like that until I really started trying to professionalize my business. And then a whole series of next challenges came in: leadership, inspiration, coaching, mentoring, developing others. Getting paint jobs done with and through and around other people is 1,000 times harder than just doing it yourself. And sometimes we want that next level of difficulty. We want that next challenge. And with more challenge comes more risk, hopefully comes more reward, and growing a business definitely will give you more reward. So Damian, that's what I would suggest to you. Let's see what else we got here. Thanks everybody for watching. This is awesome. Oh, Jamie Hansen. It's amazing what you see when you sit still with intent. That's Jamie from Florida.
Yeah.
Gator Boy appreciates you very much, Jamie. Alina and I appreciate you and what you do, Nick. Thank you guys very much. I do appreciate that. So have fun in Florida down there. Jamie, thanks so much. Oh, Estimator Ian. Estimator Ian. So everybody knows Estimator Andy, right? He's world famous as Estimator Andy. And we're circling around a nickname for Ian. You want to know it?
What?
2 million. Because that's how much we want him to sell this year.
Oh.
2 mil Ian. 2 million.
Oh.
2 mil
yeah, it
Ian.
makes sense.
2 million. So that's what we're circling around for him. It's a big goal. It's a nickname, and there's a lot of peer pressure. But no, we love Ian. He's doing the Lord's work, and yeah, awesome part of our team. So, Ian, start coaching. Helping others seems like adding more to the plate. It doesn't. It's empowering. No truer words, Ian. You know it, man. I know you get energy from that stuff too, especially the stuff that we do together. So, all right, guys, we are going to pick up camp. We have had this beautiful, beautiful little place under this ancient birch tree right here, watching eagles and hawks and buzzards floating around, and we are going to do another march.
Yeah.
I told him I'm gonna run him like a dog, and and boy, he slept hard today, and he slept hard last night. So I think we finally went to bed at about 10 or 11 last night, and he was up at 4, give or take again, and we're marching through the woods. So, all right, everybody, I appreciate this very much, and I absolutely love that you guys humor me with this sort of thing, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts about above the line, below the line, fix versus abundance, traction, grit, mindset, all that stuff. And if you guys have any suggestions how I can take my leadership to the next level and be more effective with inspiring people to have ownership thinking, above the line thinking, the abundance mindset, boy, I would love it, because if I could wish anything for my people, it would be more of that, including myself, because that's a way better way to go through life. So, all right, everybody, have a good rest of the weekend. Enjoy your family. Oh, last one here. Let's see. Quick nerdy question. Do you folks ever experience flashing with 3M wall repair? Especially with dark colors? Hey, no. So flashing has more to do with the paint than the patch. All right, we're going to go nerdy paint question, then we're done, okay? So flashing to me has more to do with the paint and the coating than it does with the actual patch. We've been using 3M extra strength small hole repair. It dries super fast, super hard. It's really sandable. They're actually coming out with a color changing version soon, which I did a special promo video for and was testing it out for them, which is pretty cool. We use Duration Home Matte on interior walls, and 2 coats over that stuff is just absolutely perfect every time. You can take drywall mud, and I've used Duration over the top of it, and it's not flashed in patches. So to me, it has more to do with the coating than that. So typically what you'll find is a heavier bodied, 100% acrylic, premium, top of the line, something has a way better chance of not flashing. You could take that same 3M patch and do one wall in, you know, a very lesser paint, a builder's grade paint, a Promar 200, a Sure Scrub, you know, something like that, and then Duration, and you will see a big difference in how those patches look at the end. So yeah. All right, everybody, I do appreciate this. Have a good rest of the weekend. You want to give us a sign out?
How do I do that?
Say, love, peace, chicken grease. Something, any kind of way to close out the show. What do you think?